So we're making progress, and what we're going to do next is add the functionality so that we can actually upload our images to Cloudinary via our API. So what we'll do next, we'll go back to VS Code, and I'll just clean up some of these windows. And what we want to do is we want to start in our agent.ts file here. And we need to do something slightly different with our requests. And we're going to need to add an additional type of request to post form data via Axios to our API. And what I'll do is I'll add another request in here inside our requests object, and this one I'll call post form. And this one's going to take a URL of a string, and it's also going to take a file which is going to be of type blob. And what we want to do in here, first of all, is we want to create a variable called form data, which is going to be of type new form data. And then what we need to do is say form data dot append, and we need to give our file the key, and in this case it's going to be file, and we'll pass up the file. Now this key is going to need to match what we've called our property in iForm file. And if you wanted to give this different names and use this elsewhere in our file, then it would probably be better just to move this down and have a separate request for doing this inside our actual requests. But what I'm going to do is just keep this as simple as possible and just add a new request inside here that contains what we need. And inside here what we'll do is we'll say return Axios dot post URL and form data, and then we'll set their headers, and inside the headers we'll specify the content type, is multi-part / and then form dash data. And after this we'll add the len statement and then just pass in the response body. And then what we can do is we can go down to our profiles and we'll add another request in here, and this one we'll call upload photo, and we'll pass in the photo, which will be a blob, and we'll specify the return type in here, and we'll say the promise of iPhoto is what we get back from our server. And we'll need to bring in iPhoto, and then we'll say requests.postForm, and then add the backticks and / photos, and add the comma, and then photo will be our file that we're passing up. So this takes care of the agent method, and what we need to do next is go to our profile store and create the action inside there. So we'll go to the profile store, and what we want to do is we want to add another action to upload a photo. So we'll say action, and we'll call this upload photo, and it's going to be an async method, and we'll pass in the file, which is going to be a blob. And we want to add a new observable for a loading indicator here. So I'm just going to add another observable and just call this one uploading photo equals false. And down in our upload photo method, I'll set that to true inside here, and then we'll add the try catch block as per normal. And inside the try we'll say const photo equals await agent.profiles.upload photo and pass in the file. And then we'll add the running action statements. And we'll check to see if we have a profile, and which we will do at this point, but because we're using TypeScript we're going to get a complaint if we attempt to set something that could potentially be null. So we'll check to make sure we have the profile, and then we'll say list.profile.photos.push, and we'll push the photo into that array. And then we need to check the photo that we're sending up. If it's the main photo, then there's going to be other places we want to also set this particular image. So we'll say if the photo is main, and we'll also check to make sure that we have the user in the root store or in our user store, which we will do, of course, but once again, this is just to get around the type check-in that's going on. So we'll make sure that we have a user in our root store user store. And then what we'll do, we'll say list.rootstore.user.user.image is equal to the photo.url, and we'll say list.profile.image equals photo.url. And following this, and just outside of this if statement, we can say list.uploadingPhoto equals false. And then inside the catch, we'll just add a console.log and pass in the error. We'll add a toast.error and just say problem uploading photo. And then we need to add another running action. And in this case, we'll just say list.uploadingPhoto equals false so that we turn off the loading indicator if there is a problem. So now we've got the methods in place to upload an image. What we'll do next is look at our component and add this functionality there and test it.